So let's see. I hope it's working. Yeah, it seems that we are recording the session. So welcome again, everybody, to the second webinar of TWIST. I'm Juliane Schulze, member of the board of the Investor Network Media Deals. And I welcome you to this session, and I want to thank our two presenters today very much on agreeing to pitch their presentations in front of the group. They're very cool about it. That's very appreciated. So thank you very much for that. Before we go into your pitches, we quickly want to recap on what Twist Digital as a project within the context of Horizon 2020 wants to accomplish, what the Funny Media Deals Troop is doing, so you get a quick background info on that, and then we want to go straight into the 7-minute test pitches, first by the company Incantor, and Rafał is going to present his company. After the 7-minute presentation, I will start to give feedback, and then I invite everyone in the room to share their views. I've seen that you already, this is fantastic, have muted your microphones, which is helping, obviously, to have a good quality in the session today. So when you then want to ask a question, don't forget to activate your microphones. So we will have a session. I will time both 7-minute test pitches to give participants a feeling for the timing and a kind of real case environment. And after we spoke about the Incantor presentation and kind of hammered out what we feel needs to be amended, we then turn to Benoit's presentation, and it is the same routine. He will have 7 minutes to present, and then I will give my feedback first. We'll ask some questions, and then everyone in the room is invited to feed in with comments, questions, and concerns. After that, hopefully, we have some time for a little bit of a final Q&A. And I'd like to remind you to please use the below feedback form that is online to just, it's really 5 questions, I believe, to give us an indication why you joined the session, so we have some data that we can later analyze. That said, I hope everything is as clear as possible. Christoph, be so kind and start your little intro on what Twist Digital is about.
Thank you. Yes, my little intro will be the same as the last time, and I hope that I will just, I try to make it really very short, because I assume that the majority of those who attend today were also present the last time. So I just keep reminding you a little bit more and about what is the Twist project and the Startup Europe. So basically, the Twist is the Horizon 2020 action. The project is co-funded by the European Commission. This is important for us to emphasize this, and the through Startup Europe program. It is important also for you to know that this Horizon 2020 just starts, and this is the biggest EU research and innovation program that was ever done, with 80 billion of funding available for the next 7 years. So please know that, and study also yourself the programs that might be available for yourself. Startup Europe itself aims to strengthen the business environment for web and ICT entrepreneurs. And ourselves are the Twist project, Trans-Regional Web Innovative Services for Digital and Mobile Entrepreneurship. We are aiming to connect 4 existing local web entrepreneurship ecosystems, which are in Warsaw, Lille, Stockholm, Rome, with also a very important role from Berlin and Julian. We are supposed to provide new services for the web entrepreneurs, focusing on scaling up and competing in the global market. Of course, the objectives are in that sense to kind of the high value of web and mobile companies, but instead of telling about what are the risks, it is important to know that actually we are enabling you via Twist project And our objectives are to get you the ability to access to talents, knowledge, markets, potential clients, and to finance as our partners, the other partners of the TWIST project and ourselves are either business environment institutions, business angel networks, seed funds, and organizations that are providing the support for the startup ecosystem. And that is what you should know, I think. And well, I'm ready and happy to to give the floor to the main event and Rafael and Benoit. So thank you, and I'm with you, and I'm muting my microphone right now.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Christoph.
Is it fine?
A quick word.
Sorry, pardon. Yeah, my apologies, Julian. I was too this time.
Don't worry. Jumping ahead with the little time we have is just fair enough. Yeah, no, just 2 words on what Media Deals is. It is a pan-European investor network that actually started in the year 2008. And ever since, our group of mainly business angels, some early stage venture capital funds, focus on providing finance for early stage companies with the high growth potential in the area of the creative industries, digital media with a strong technology component, which is a bit of a niche, you could say, and which probably also distinguishes us from other investor networks. And as an investor network, we provide services to both our client groups, which are the SMEs like yourself, and obviously our investors, which we like to provide with deal flow. So what we do for both groups is to educate them basically in what the other party is doing. So educate investors on what is going on in these fields of the creative industries and digital media technologies, and help SMEs like yourself, startups, to understand better what investors are expecting when they meet entrepreneurs, and how to, and this is what we will talk about today, and how to come up with a proper presentation that basically answers to most of the questions that investors have. So we would then be ready to hear the first pitch. In order to do that, which is in Cantor, and Rafa is the presenter, I should be able, and let's see if I manage, to give him presenter rights. Rafa, I see, yeah, here's one. So I make you a moderator. Okay, so if you accept the status, you might receive a notification. If you accept the status, you should be able to run the slides yourself. Let me know if you create any, if you need some help on that, or if you already received this information. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Very good. This looks good.
Like pop up. You are the presenter, yeah, okay. So may I upload the presentation?
What you do is you go on the button Options, and then you see 3 possibilities, and the screen is in the middle. If you go on screen, you then have a menu and can select your presentation from the menu, and then it should be shared with all of us in an ideal world. Don't leave the meeting.
Yes, of course. But unfortunately, I can't see this option in the menu.
You have no option button. This is settings, no. Yeah, I see. You have a different
Okay. Yes.
menu.
Settings, webcam, audio only.
Audio, webcam, general. If you go on general, what do you have there? English? That's it. Okay. So what we then do in order to save time, I will
I'm in
try.
general, but I have only thing I have the select language. That's all.
Now that's strange that you don't get that. Wait, just let me see. So what I will do is Belgium, Dingsboom. So we have to learn how to do that smoothly. I will open your.
Oh, you don't have the last version, but
I don't have the last version, no.
I
Do you
thought
want to
guys
send me
would
that?
upload the presentation, but in this case we may use the last one.
Okay.
You have
Um,
few tiny changes.
can you see it?
Yes.
Very good. So what you would do is you say next, and then I move the slide.
But that's not my presentation. It's Grow.
Oh, I'm sorry. Very true. Very, very true. We are there in a moment. Here we are.
Oh, this one.
Looks better, doesn't it?
More similar.
Okay.
Oh.
Ding dong. So you can see it, yeah?
Yes.
Excellent. So you just say next, and I will move the slide for you.
Hello, everybody.
And excuse me for interrupting, Rafa. Please speak as loud as possible. You are very low in volume.
Okay.
Super. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, everybody. I'm Managing Director in country, and through this presentation, I will try to answer 3 basic questions. Who are we? Where are we? What are we going to be? And what do we need? Okay. Can we go on? We are the online currency exchange and money transfer service for overseas payment. It's quite difficult to talk to me because I can hear my voice.
Yeah, there's an echo.
Oh, it's better? Oh, okay. Hold on.
No, it's much better. If you could just consider whether you don't have something which is also connected maybe to go to a meeting room, and you have a loop, I think. But the second ago it was perfect. Sorry, that's why I'm just wanted to say that this is okay. So I'm muting myself again.
Okay. So we are currency exchange service, but we are not another FX platform. It means that we are dealing with real currency exchange market with real currency delivery. It means when our customers are going to exchange currency, exchange it and deliver real money on their bank accounts. Different of bank accounts in different banks. It's horrible effort. So I have to put the volume down. Okay. Through our business, we offer exchanging also very little amount of money. It means that our customers can exchange also $10 through different currency. There is no limit for exchange as it used to be when you're going to exchange on currency in bank. And we give our customers very best rates as well. So we dedicate our service to individuals and to companies as well, to people who work abroad and travel abroad, and for those who pay their mortgages, especially Swiss francs. We are not a bank institution, but we run many different bank accounts, so we may offer cheap and in many cases free of charge quick currency transfers. Okay, can we go further? Okay. Now our business looks like today that in September we serve 101 currency pairs. It means that we exchange 17 currencies. In pairs we may look in the bottom of this page. So it means that we don't need exchange through our national currency, Polish zloty, and we offer service with direct exchange. Okay. Go on. Right now we have more than 10,000 clients, mostly individuals, but also right now are more than 450 business clients. It's mostly small, medium enterprises who are exporting and importing goods from abroad, and they pay their bills in different currencies, getting money in different currencies which they want to exchange into Polish zloty or different currency. So we offer them direct exchange in the 17 currencies. During the last 12 months, we made more than 50,000 exchanges. It means that the value of the exchange in US dollar was $50 million. We provide very cheap and quick wire transfers. It means if our clients order this transfer till 12 in the noon, in most cases the currency is on the beneficiary account next day in the morning. So we accept every kind of bank accounts in different formats. It's not only IBAN account, but also others which are in US or Canada or Australia. So we are also able to collect incoming transfer from different countries all over the world. We right now offer light mobile responsive version for smartphones and other mobile devices, and transactional parties in Polish, English, German, and in Russian. Okay. So you may find those currencies we presently offer to exchange in different variants. We offer also the second, also very important part of our business is money transfer, overseas money transfers, which are pretty cheap. It means that every transfer is flat rate, flat fee from $1.5 to $3 US.
So this was the indication of the 7 minutes.
Okay, can we go further? I need 5 more. Okay. Okay, what we're going to achieve is that we're going to be trustworthy partner for currency exchange online with cheap overseas money transfers. Okay, we may go further. These are areas of for business cooperation. We need support marketing in customers acquiring plan for international level. We are mostly dealing with Polish companies, Polish clients, and in European countries, in Germany, in UK mostly, and in Ireland. But we may go to different countries with our service. We're going to find international partner with added value service for their clients. It can be financial service, but not only. We may we may add our service as a white label company, white labeling service, but there's a couple of fields for cooperation. We going to focus on blockchain technology and Bitcoin transfer integration and implementation in the next couple of months. Okay, let's go.
Sorry, now it reacts.
We are a limited company based in Poland and it is paid up share capital and usually on the slides with the structure. But the most important thing, what we're going to go. Can we go on the button? Can you put the presentation up?
Pardon? Shall I move on?
Yes, and not but up.
Unfortunately, I cannot.
Okay, go. So we are looking right now minimum 3-year invest.
No, sorry.
Okay, that's a couple words about our expectation, about our needs. We're looking for at least 3-year investor with preferable exit option as the APO, but it's not only option. We're looking for cash investor, and we're going to this money cover new product implementation. As I told you in presentation, it's Bitcoin technology we're going to implement. The second thing is in-house, our RT department, because most our team are outsourced model. On the present model, we're going to move further and build strong team on this in this field. And the third part is marketing needs. We're going to spread on the European level. We are offering 25 of shares for it. And the third part are areas of service development. We're going to move further with our service. Right now we are focused on currency exchange and money transfer, but also going to create social lending platform with microloans, because we have some inquiries from our clients about it. We're going to develop our tools for global payments as such, with currency exchange behind it. And the third thing is blockchain technology and Bitcoin integration, which enable us to speed up also transfers to different countries. And this is technology for the future and for coming years.
Okay, Raphael, please try to wrap up now.
Okay. Now some slides with overview of our mobile devices. Some awards we've got from institutions about our technology, about our service. And that's our team, the most crucial, most important people who are behind the service. Robert, Michal, Arthur, me, and six more in outsourcing model. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and very sorry for rushing you in the end, Raphael. But in order not to blow our time schedule,
me, but I have horrible echo in ears.
No, I know this is not happening.
Talk to you.
It's terrible if you hear yourself more than once. Yeah. Okay, what I'm going to do now is to quickly run through the slides again with you. To first of all, thank you very much for walking us through your business proposition, which is quite amazing. I think you have accomplished a lot already. In regards to the presentation, obviously you blew it totally, and you know that. You need in the real world to stay within the 7 minutes. If you do not, and I don't know if you have been participating to our first webinar where I explained a little bit the logic of the business pitch, but the expectation of investors is that you manage to say the core things, the key components of your business proposition within 7 minutes. And sometimes you even have less time. Sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes 4. So it is crucial to have a presentation ready that you know you can deliver within the time frame that will be provided to you. And this is usually something that organizers of an investment forum or a pitch session are telling you upfront, that the format is either a 7 or 4 minute. So in this case, what you have presented takes more or less half an hour. You know, if you want to really do this, you need half an hour to go through all the bits and pieces. And did you participate to the first webinar, Raphael?
Only in half.
But you have seen the presentation, I suppose?
Yes.
Okay, so you have seen the pitching guidelines, which I think could help you to adjust the slides that you created already, because the information you have here is pretty comprehensive, and you pretty much have most of the things basically on your slides that you would need to now summarize. And in order to do that, let's go quickly through and see where, at least from my perspective, there is some room for improvement. What I would suggest you to do, because you have a very strong proposition, you have identified an area where currency exchange is not happening, and you offer a service that seems to be quite unchallenged yet. So what I would do in your case is to clearly state the problem that you identified and your solution. And this, I believe, should be your first slide, you know, so that you begin with this introduction into what the market needs, which is, as it seems, the possibility to convert little amounts of money into a variety of currencies. And in the course of your presentation, somewhere it also speaks about some, wait a minute, how do you call that, tools, overseas transfer tool that you developed?
Yes, because that's second very important thing right now, the overseas transfers in different currencies. I'm not talking about euro transfers, but different currencies are pretty expensive, and sometimes it takes even 3-4 days.
Exactly. So I think, in order to get people excited about what you do, you need to first and foremost state what you do and why this is a new service and why it absolutely deserves investors' attention and why you do have, let's say, a justifiable expectation in the market. Plus, you already have proof of concept, so this is very good. So this is what I would begin with, and then be clear, because then we can follow you much better. And you need to boil down the slides because there are way too many words. This is way too wordy. All we want to see are the key points, the key features of your service that really make it outstanding, special, exciting, and worth investing in. We do not need all the detail and we do not need full-length sentences. This is absolutely not necessary because it looks like you copied the text of an executive summary on some slides. And this is what you should not present to investors.
Okay.
You should make it more vibrant also and much more lively by, wait a minute, here's something somebody has said, we cannot see the bottom of the slides. Yeah, unfortunately, I know, it's the same for me. And if I try to move the slide up, I change to the next one. So unfortunately, I cannot change the layout. That's unfortunate.
Maybe you can make it smaller.
I'm on full screen. If I make it smaller, then you can't read it anymore.
Okay.
So I think, keep in mind, you do not want to share a whole essay with us. You want to share with us the key and outstanding features. If I move on, for example, this one is completely useless. This is a slide you do not need. All you need is to state, which you do in this one sentence, that you already are able to offer currency exchange of 101 currency pairs. Super, and all international, all across the world, between North America and Asia and Europe and so on. So for me, that would be one sentence basically. Yeah?
Okay.
Because we need to save time. Seriously. So maybe also you could join the information that you have on the third slide we just saw with this one by combining basically the number of different convergences you are able to make with the number of clients you already have and the approximate value of transactions, which is really a strong proof of concept, because you just have 12 months on your sleeves and you are already deep into business. 10,000 clients is really nothing to be ashamed of. So this is a real good success story, and I think something that you should. I may
add that with most of those clients we gained when we had only 4 currencies, and our service was available only with Polish currencies. There were no calls, no direct exchange. We developed our service into direct exchange about half year ago.
Okay, which means if I had a bit trouble to hear you well, but it seems that this addresses mostly the Polish currency and another. So
yes,
which would mean, yeah?
For first 2 years, we could only offer exchange with and from Polish zloty to Swiss francs to euro to pounds and US dollar.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Yeah.
And right now we are getting more international because, for instance, Norwegians can they exchange them direct their coronas into euro. They don't need to sell corona into Polish zloty and then buy euro.
Okay, so in other words, there is a lot more potential in the upcoming ability to
Yeah, that's what I mean.
exchange between other currencies, which is obviously interesting to know, but I think you do not necessarily need to spend a lot of time on that in a 7-minute presentation. You know, it's good to speak about it maybe in a different moment. But I think first of all, we need to understand that you already have Ooh la la, what happened there?
Yeah, I can.
Bad echo. Okay. Can you hear me? Christoph, can you hear me
We can
clearly?
hear you. We can hear you. Yes, of course, but very clearly.
All right, very good. So the echo is somewhere else. All right. All right, so let's move on and see how. I think again here, what we do not have to have all the detail, yeah, on the transfers. This is something that you want to share with an investor who develops an interest and wants to talk with you in further detail, and then you can go into all those bits and pieces of your current offer and the tools. Important is the information that is important here is that we need to understand the overall charge, your business model basically. You know, what do you charge for, let's say, zloty to euro transactions? What do you charge for transactions of Europe between European currencies? And here you state the overseas money transfer. So we need to understand that to catch your business model. So that is important, but you know the detail that you provide here is already too much. You know, it's not what you need in an initial investor pitch. What you need, and this is crucial, is a clear statement of your USP. You know, we need to understand in which relationship your service stands in the current environment of competitors. So who is out there? Who does something similar? And why do they do things different? And as you know, there's one way of showing that, which is not super exciting, but mostly very effective, which is a kind of positioning cross in which you know, place the competitors and then show how you in relation to those competitors position yourself and why you are different, because this is crucial. And this should be also visualized, let's say, with the logos of those competitors, because some might be known by investors you will be talking to.
So you should, you think that instead of it, I should put benchmark?
Yeah, exactly. But you know, like the 5, 6 competitors that are out there who do the thing quite different than you do. But we have, from the information that we receive, not really appreciating, or we cannot really appreciate what you do different, what your unique selling proposition really is. And I think this needs to be very clearly stated. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, put PayPal and other companies as a benchmark.
Exactly. And then we can also, you know, by obviously the help of your explanation, understand what it is that you do and why your service and your business proposition to investors is really interesting. All right. And then you speak about marketing and customers. But I think what we really need to understand on this slide is who are your customers. I think we need to really understand much better who you are targeting. The SMEs you are talking about, individuals you are talking about, but it's very broad, you know, and there might be client groups in this segment that you can identify or already identified, and you can quantify also, which would be very good to know. You know, how many people do use services like this, how many people of those overall potential customers are you actually targeting, and what does that then mean in terms of market share that you aim to take? So it would be good for us to understand the overall market size. Yeah. So all the kind of transactions that are currently going on online and that are done differently and not in let's say with the same friendly or under the same friendly conditions that you are offering, because you are not a bank. So what is the potential like? You know, how many million of people do you think are out there? And is it the Polish market you can talk about today better, and maybe you need some more research for the European market, or do you already have all the numbers? So I think we need to understand that, yeah?
I know the potential, how big is this exchange market, I mean online exchange market.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
In Poland is...
Very good. So I think this is a very solid starting point. And since you are operating in the Polish market and your ambition is to grow international, I think you then need to research that potential a bit to give investors an idea of the scale. No? Because you are already quite successful in a short period of time. Now you want to be better in your Polish home market, but you also want to get out of the market and become a European actor or even global actor.
Yeah, but mostly you may go to countries as Romania, Bulgaria, and different.
Yeah, very good. So I think this is very important to state.
Because in these countries, the banking service, according to currency exchanges, is very expensive.
Yeah. You see, this is a very important piece of information, you know, that we clearly understand your strategy, that we clearly get the picture that you are foremostly aiming at that particular part of Europe. And you have a very good reason to do that.
Okay.
No? At the same time, you're speaking about your overseas tour, which is very interesting. And I think you should do the same there. You should give us a kind of idea of the quantity in both market segments that you are targeting. And after you do that, obviously a question comes up. The question, how do you market to these people? How do they find out about your services? How do they learn how to find you, how to use your service? So we need to hear which kind of marketing, communication, and possibly distribution strategy you are developing in order to reach those customers that you identified as being your core customers. If we then move on, I think what we then want to see, after you spoke about the market and all the size and all that, is really the team that comes later in your presentation. But here we need to understand that you actually have the competences in your team to pull this off, to make this work. Yeah. So we first need to, in one slide instead of 4 that you used for your team, it's very nice that you appreciate your team members that much, and this is well noted, but actually you only need one slide in which you speak about the people, your key team, and in which you state the competencies that you have which support your business model and support your business activities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
Super. Then, now I think these are things which, by the way, look very nice, but you do not need to explain how the layouts for the various devices look like. What we need to understand is this is an example of how your services look like. So what you could do is you can spread those screenshots basically across the slides of your presentation. you know, and it can be stated, this is the mobile screen. This is another layout for a mobile device. This is how the tablet layout looks like. Yeah, so it's an information that visually runs by, which you do not even have to address because we can read while you speak. But it's interesting to see how clean and nicely organized the information is. Now, I see something quite interesting down here in which several banks are listed. Are these people you work with, or what is the meaning of these banks down there?
In most of those banks, we've got bank accounts. We have we are able to offer service for free.
I see. Very good. Okay.
Not in all of them, but we serve every bank all over the world.
And this is also important.
Very
we are
important.
able to receive money to exchange from every bank all over the world, and we are able to send money to every bank all over the world. It's quite difficult to exchange platform because we have different formats, but I'm not going to tell about details.
Yeah. No, but what you should
nevertheless, the most important information is that they exist in the majority. All the banks are actually accessible, and in Poland, for instance, which are usually also the international banks, each country has its own accounts. So basically, this is only a few, but the number of banks is just like, I don't know, 40, 50, something like that.
Those brands are well known in Poland and most popular.
Yeah, I think what you should do, Rafael, is to use these logos on the slide where you speak about your USP, because this is obviously your very unique approach to solve the problem. And it helps your audience a lot to understand how you work. If we see that right there when you speak about how your business model is structured and how you actually approach the problem of currency conversion. Yeah, so I would not see that here somewhere at the bottom of a slide, very late in your presentation. This belongs right at the probably this belongs on the third slide where you speak about your USP.
Okay.
Yeah?
We'll to emphasize it.
Yep. This is nice, and again, this can be mentioned somewhere, and maybe, I don't know, where you speak about your team, your company and your team, but it should not necessarily be an own slide, even though congratulations. So we spoke about that. That is great, a great team. And but I think, you know, it's obvious that we want to study and appreciate the competencies of these people, and we do not always need to see addresses and all that. That is not the important information that we need here. Now, there are a couple of things that maybe I go to the very last, or maybe your picture, why not, since we are talking to you. There are a couple of things missing. Obviously, a financial plan is missing. And you are already in business, and you already have some data on your current performance, I suppose. So it would be probably something that investors want to understand in a summary. You know, how do you perform so far? What happened with the company so far?
Yeah. Monthly income report. We have different reports.
Well, I think all they need to know is, did you already break even? You know, are you already profitable, or when do you expect to break even? You know, I mean, I think you are already past that point, but you do not speak about that, and this is obviously very important for investors to understand. At the same time, they need to see your projections. You know, your financial projections, at least for a time period of 3, better for a time period of 5 years, so that they can understand how you intend to grow your company, that your cash flow is positive, that you are already profitable, or whatever the message will be that we see, and that we can also follow your investment proposition because you will show when this investment is happening, what you will do with that, and how it then actually affects the growth of your company. In order to do that in a most, let's say, effective way, you could maybe think about combining your strategic next steps in growing in Cantor and in attracting financial investment by doing a combination of a roadmap and a timeline, and indicate, where your financial need actually sits, because then you can also speak about what you will do with that. And it is one graph, one visual slide that helps investors to get the full picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where we are right now, and when we got the investment, what we're going to do, what we're going to achieve.
Yeah. Exactly. Because a core question, or several core questions actually, will be answered if you combine the roadmap, the timeline, and the financial need. Is that you show your whole proposition from a strategic perspective, but you also break it down in terms of steps. You explain the time investment that goes into it. You help an investor to understand the proportion of the investment versus the already existing financial value of the company. And you help them to understand what you will actually do with the money that they will give you. And these are always recurring questions of investors, as you probably already know. Now, you mentioned in your slides that you are, and this is, let's see, don't remember where it is. I think it's here, yeah. That you expect an exit, an IPO as an exit, which is obviously fair enough to aim for that. But I just wondered, I'm not a specialist in your area, so it's just a question, if there could be possibly companies, maybe even financial institutions or organizations that would be interested in acquiring the shares of the investor.
Yes, of course, it can be branch investor.
So it would be interesting if you would maybe, just mention the 2-3 institutions that you believe could be interested. It's just an indication, and it means that you know the market and you have identified potential buyers. Doesn't mean that they will buy, but there is a potential. And obviously, if an investor sees there's a possibility for an IPO or for selling his shares to those companies, then it looks much nicer.
Yeah, and the interesting option is when we got an investor or buy the service and will put it on the international level. If you have a partner in this area, investment, or even later, and make it global.
Very much.
If may, I'll just very briefly the idea of with whom to cooperate and who would be this investor, because it's a different strategy. But basically, at Deutsche Bank itself, before they did their own platform, we're talking to Encantor because they wanted to have Encantor's platform. So this could be delivered to the white label. I'm sure that some of the German bank might not have such platform itself, so this could be either a financial institution, or if you are talking about the range, there's the companies like Yahoo, maybe Google as well, but Yahoo, if you put into position that, for example, this platform will be the only one which just does the money transfer and the currency exchange, and they have sections like finance and travel and all this sort of stuff, where the people are dealing with the problem of exchanging the currency and money transfer, that gives a huge potential. I mean, for for making the benefit for the investor and for the company itself.
Absolutely, and I think this is worth mentioning. Now you see, I've already rushed to the test pitch too, and since we are very late, first of all, Rafael, many thanks
I'm sorry
for your time and presentation.
Very difficult to me to hear myself in my ears in this echo, and it's right now it's very difficult.
Yeah, I know it's a challenge, and I hope that the next time we do not have such audio problems. But I hope that you have some food for thought and that you will go through your presentation amended. Please send it over once you have done that, and then you will receive the one-to-one feedback.
Okay, thank you so much.
Super, Rafael, bon courage, good luck, and welcome Benoit to our second test pitch. Are you in the room?
Hi,
Yes.
you hear me?
Yep. Crisp and clear.
Yep. I sent, Gillian, I just sent you an email with the presentation without my notes on it. I thought it might look better.
Oh, certainly is. Okay, so here we have it. Ta-da! Do you see it?
Yes.
Very good. So I will set my clock to the fabulous 7 minutes, and I'm ready when you are, Benoit.
Just a sec. Okay, let's go. Okay, so hello everyone. Thanks for being there. We are Grow, a startup, a one-year-old startup in Lille, France. What do I say when I want you to slide to get the next slide? Yeah, thanks.
Next.
Okay, so this is the problem we're addressing. I have a garden space, a garden, small or big. I might have a balcony or just a backyard. I love plants. I'd love to, but I forget to water them.
Sorry.
To water them. No, it's okay. I never know when to trim or fertilize them. Basically I'm not good at gardening. Help me. So next. Over there at the top right, this is my fantasized garden. This is where I'd like to be one day. I know how to garden. It seems effortless. I live happily in harmony with my plants. I can even invite friends over for a barbecue. Everything's fine. Now, how do I get from point A to point B? Thank you. As you see, the learning curve is pretty steep. It's pretty curvy. I've got lots of different sources of information. I can browse magazines, websites, Facebook groups. I've got books and everything, but I always forget what to do, and it's always me. I'm always the one who has to go back to look for the information. Who's at the no? Thanks. Just a minute. Who's at the top right?
Sorry.
Who's at the top right? It's usually people who actually have gone through the learning experience. So they're retired people over 50, maybe over 60. Who's at the top bottom? Well, maybe you. Surely there was me 2 years ago when I first started to work on this project. So what Grow wants to, yeah, next, thanks. It's quite complicated to, yeah. I'd love to click on the thing myself.
Sorry.
Grow aims at helping you go from here to there easily. So what did we do next, please? Yes. We have built a garden coach that is a mobile application. Basically, what it does, it makes it sorts your to-dos in your garden. You tell the application what plants you have in your garden, and then it tells you what to do and when in the garden, and of course it tells you how to do it, and of course too it's gonna notify you when things become urgent. So next, please. Yeah. So we launched the service. We launched the app on iOS and Android last April, just as spring began. And in the course of 3 months, we got more than 3,000 users, an incredible retention rate, a lot of Facebook fans, and we spent 3 months talking to our users, and we've got an awesome feedback. Lots of love. Yep, thanks. Nate, next. So in the course of talking to our users, we found out one interesting thing about them. Our users don't know how to garden, that's one thing, but they also have another problem, which is they never know what to buy for the garden spaces. They actually buy at random, like looks nice, without knowing if they're actually choosing suits their needs. So we thought, can we help our users with that too? Next, please. Oops, next. Julian, have I lost Julian? Oh.
No, I'm here.
Oh, no.
This is
sorry. Okay. So my screen was somehow frozen. So it turns out we have an awesome tool to do that, to help us identify our users' needs. We give advice to them, and in exchange of that, we collect a lot of data. We are going to know what plans you have, where you live, because we're going to ask where you live, so we can actually address the weather forecast and things like that. So we're getting a lot of data, and we thought we might be able to define personalized product recommendations according to that data. So this is the next slide, please. This is our value proposition. The best plan for you, tailored to your needs, delivered fresh to your doorstep, and the follow-up, which is the year-round advice that goes with it. Next, please. So the market in France weighs roughly 3.6 billion euros with a very large number of sellers, not particularly aggressive. Some might say it's a slumbersome market, old school sellers still doing it the old way. The e-commerce is very small. It's roughly 1%. They're aiming at the top experts, the top right corner at the beginning. They're actually selling plans to my mom, for example. And beginners don't actually shop on the internet, which is kind of strange because they actually live with their smartphones attached to their hands, but they don't shop from the internet. Why? Because it's too complicated to shop, to buy some plans from these websites. Next slide, thanks. So what do we want to do now? We want to make a better application, make a more lovable product, as we call it. We want to improve our algorithms and the user experience for a better service. We want to scale up and invest money on promotion. We got where we are without spending a penny on promotion, but now is the time to put the pedal to the metal. There's also still a lot to be learned on data analysis, which we're just starting out. And we'd also like to start monetizing a little bit, at first with a very small range of products, to test things out. Next, please. So this is a 5 years projection of users and revenue. Next slide again. Where we're going and how we want to go there. We believe we can actually give this tired market a kick. So we're not actually trying to get a share of this 1%. We want to multiply that 1% to a fair multiplier. Oops. So to do that, okay, we're looking for seed funding of 200,000 euros on top of the love money and private funds we've already secured for 70,000 euros. Next, please. And it's the last one. And this is who we are, combining 80 years of experience in business, startups, software development, e-commerce, user experience, and gardening. Next, and thanks.
Very good. Thank you very much, Benoit. Fabulous.
Thanks.
So let's go through it again. So you were almost within the time frame. Congratulations on that, because I know it is not easy, and it will become even more challenging after you hear my feedback. Anyhow, I think everyone in the room sees that we picked probably presentations from the two ends of the spectrum, and purposefully so, in order to show you possibilities like Grow has used here, which are self-drawn images that walk us through the process of understanding what they are doing, walk us through the business model, and help us to understand why they need money and what for. So it's a very different approach, which I think has a number of advantages. First of all, it shows personality, it shows authenticity, it shows humor, it shows something important to investors too, and not everybody might care for that. It shows that you might be people that an investor likes to spend 4 or 5 years of his or her life with, because that is actually what happens when an investor decides to get on board. It is a bit like a marriage. So once you see that people like your team, Benoit, is addressing their business proposition like that, you feel like, this is different. And it's different not only because of the service, it's also different because of the team, the personality, and the value system that you express by choosing this type of presentation. I think this is something to underline because it establishes also something else. The likelihood that you will all remember this presentation is very high. The likelihood that you remember a presentation that looks like pretty much all the others because it uses similar tools and similar visual support is very low. And what do you want to do? You want to be in the minds of investors. You want to stand out also with your presentation. And this is one of the reasons why we found that the presentation by Grow is really interesting and encouraging for everyone to think about a way how to come up with a style, a language, an aesthetic, a layout, whatever you want that you feel is appropriate for your presentation and your business, obviously, and that you also like personally very much and can identify with, because that tells an investor a lot about yourself. So that was a long speech about the design. Now let's go to the questions I have. First of all, as much as I enjoyed being walked through, all these clearly existing problems, and I'm very much at the bottom left, and I would appreciate a service like you offer, is the fact that we spend too much time on identifying the problem. So I think if you want to work within a 7-minute business presentation and you want to state all the other things that you need to address eventually, you need to be more effective on giving us an idea what you do. So that needs to be summarized, and I think you have a very nice graph right here that in one shot explains what you do. It is meant like that because it's an animation basically, but I think it needs to go faster so that you save some time and to also help us understand how your app actually works. So there are some questions. Where is, for example, the info coming from, the information on the plans? Does it cost you something to collect this information on the plans? Who, besides the people in your team, are behind it? Do you have to pay for it? Yeah, I mean, you probably work with some detailed know-how around the plans, and we don't really understand how that works. So I think you need to find time to speak about how the app that we see here actually functions and what the man power is behind, how much effort on your side goes into that. Maybe you want to comment on that quickly, Benoit? Hello, hello?
Sorry, I had kept my microphone.
Ah,
yes,
okay.
well, first about what you say, I spend too much time on the problem. I kind of know that it's quite long. I kind of like the idea that it's a way to get in, and it actually talks to you. As you say, you're at the bottom left corner, and most of the people I talk to are actually down there too. And it's actually we're telling a story. We're actually telling, this is where you are. This is where we want you to go. So it's actually, you know, it's like an arc when you tell a story.
Yeah.
But I kind of know that. So I kind of know that we kind of know that I spend too much time talking about it, but it's a kind of, you know, it's a payoff. It's something that I need to use. I mean, I feel I need to use, and if I don't, and if people don't get that, don't really get the arc, don't really get the idea, then they don't. I mean, they don't really get into it. I've tried a few times with a shorter start, with a shorter introduction on the problem, and I usually, you know, I lose people on the way. Then if I do that.
Okay, so
that's
if you need, and this is a kind of result based on experience, if you need this kind of intro in the length that you exercised, then you need to find a way that is effective enough and saves you time and still mentions everything else, if it is an investor pitch, you know, which I argue you could. You probably can do that using the same graphs, the same way of drawing, but we need to go a little bit into the specifics in order to understand how your app works. We need to understand, how do you collect the data? Is that an automated process? Or how do you do that? And what do you do with that?
That was your second question. We actually, the app tracks what you do in your, since we tell you this is the right time to water your clematis, for example, and you actually do it, then we keep track of what you do in your garden. So and you take pictures of your garden, you tag your plants on your pictures. So we've got pictures, we've got your plants, we know what you do in your garden, we know how much time you spend in your garden. We're going to ask at some point, this is what I'm showing is what we call the minimum viable product. You know, so it's a first draft of what the application will actually look like in maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years time. So well, that have I answered the question?
Yeah,
about how we collect the data?
It only sounds quite time intensive. And how do you actually pay for that time?
On our, you're asking on our part, time,
yes.
time consuming on our part.
Yes.
Not on the users.
No, on your part.
No. Yeah. We've developed the app. I have developed the app, and of course, yeah, we want to make money, but we're not going to make money actually selling the app or actually putting some advertising in the app. The idea is to sell plants.
Okay. Very good. So it is a kind of marketing tool.
Sorry?
Is it? I think we do have a slight delay here on top of the other audio problems, but bear with us if you can. So you see this app a bit like a marketing tool, like something additional where your core business is in selling the plants.
Yes, we actually, instead of saying, you know, we are going to sell plants out there to the world, we start by trying to render a service to our users, and by doing that, we collect the data. So it's some sort of a marketing tool. It's actually a way to get to our users and sell something. But you know, selling advice is not going to work. I mean, most of the time when you're trying to sell an advice, people try to get it to get it from free.
That's right. Yeah, and this is why my concern is a bit, you know, how much time of your team goes into that. That is a bit the worry that I have, you know. So what is going on in your team, in your office? How much time will go into providing those services that you do not make money with? and how big needs your team to be in the end in order to be able to sufficiently provide these services to people so that the experience is actually good. So this is a question that as an investor I would have. You know, is your tool as lovable as it is it effective in what it's supposed to establish, or is it too costly for you in the end?
Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's an application, so it actually runs without. I mean, people are still using it every day, and I'm not doing anything about it these days. I'm talking to investors and things like so. It's it's technology. I'm not. We've spent a lot of time developing it. We've spent a lot of time working on the database and things like that. But once it's done. Then I mean it's technology. I'm not spending all of my day providing advices to the users. It's the app. The app does it.
Which means we need to understand how it works. Is it based on your own algorithm, for example, or is it something that you patented? It's maybe a sentence or two, but I think an investor wants to know. Yeah, they want to know what backs this up. Is it something that creates a problem because it needs 12 people in an office going through gardening books, or is it a kind of automated system based on a database that you have and based on an algorithm you created, which usually is the case, but you need to mention it.
Okay.
All right. Now, since you are already in business, it seems, with the people, with those 8,000 users. My impression was that you already do sell plans, or is that a plan?
Not yet. No, not yet.
Not yet.
We've actually not yet. No, we just made the app just to see, to sort of a proof of concept.
Okay.
Would solve the problem.
Okay, very good. So then probably what is another point to ideally clarify is what you mentioned, being competitors who service more the professional gardeners. So there is an offering in the market that addresses a part of the market, and you are after another part of the market. So I think that would need some more clarification because that gives us scale. You mentioned, where is it? Here. Yeah, I think, no. Here you mentioned the 3.6 billion euro market that you are after. Is that the total market that you are targeting, or is it a part of it, or is it a particular customer you are targeting?
No, it's the whole market of plants, inside, outside plants, and small tools. I mean, not mowing machines and things like that. It's the garden market basically in France.
Which is really a nice and thick piece of cake. So this is nothing to be ashamed of. But I think it would be good to again have a more ability to quantify that, because you speak of digital sellers aim at a 1% niche. Can you maybe give us a little bit more background on that? Again, who are these people? And if you compare your services to them, then we know better why your services are much better.
No, what those people are, it's 4 to 5 e-commerce websites selling plants through the internet, and they're selling. I mean, their average the average client, the clients are on average 60-year-old on average, 60. So they're aiming at the top right people corner. They're selling plants to my mom, or people like that, because they're doing what we call the long tail. They sell a lot of plants, like 7,000, maybe 8,000, 9,000 different plants, different varieties. And so when you're an expert and you know what you're looking for in your garden, you can go to these people and actually buy those plants from them, because you actually know what you're looking for. The other people, the mass market, they want a plant for the garden, but they don't know what they're looking for.
Okay.
So they never actually buy from them. They actually don't even know you can buy plants from the internet. They buy a lot of things from the internet. They buy their iPhones, their MacBooks. They buy everything from the internet, but never buy plants because it's difficult. Because you just can't. I mean, even if you know what you're looking for a clematis. You go to these websites, you type clematis in the search bar, and then you've got 200,000 results.
Yeah.
Not 200, 2,000 results. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you can't really choose from their offer because they offer too much and they don't provide you with the tools to actually differentiate, to understand why should I buy this or that.
Yeah.
And that's what we.
So I think you could express that basically on one slide that you draw. You know, so to speak about this market, the competitors that are active in that market, and how you differentiate your offer and why people will appreciate it actually do, because in the short period of time you were able to attract quite a good number of clients already, or of not clients but fans and users. So there is proof that you actually identified a need. That's clear. But I would try to summarize that and give it a little bit of competitive edge by stating who is active there, what's the name of these actors, and give us a little bit of let's say background info on the market, as you say, indoor, outdoor. You know, that's not bad, but the information of 3.6 billion euros is a bit lean. It's a bit skinny.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, if we then move on, we understand what your steps are, which is very good. Again, you might be able to use something similar like that to speak about your milestones, your next steps you want to reach, the timing that you foresee for those milestones to be reached, and your financial need. Maybe you can also create one drawing, basically one slide, in which you express that so that we can see when you need what and why. And then we have this chart where you speak about the objectives. So you probably, you break even somehow in the middle of December or January next year, or when do you expect to break even?
I don't know.
I mean, here it looks, because we don't understand your costs, we don't understand your...
There's no mention of costs, yes.
That's right. So we cannot say, what these numbers actually then express. So in a chart like that is in a way quite useful, it would be good to indicate your break-even point, and obviously we need to understand a bit your financial projections, not only the revenues that you are expecting, but also your financial projections and your cash flow. And this could be, again, just one graph in which you indicate those data and help us with identifying at least this crucial moment of breaking even. What I then saw here, wait, is that here? Yeah, I didn't quite understand the 100 million euros yearly revenue in 5 years in relation to that. Because in 5 years, I see 3 million here. Yeah. And here you speak of 100 million euros yearly. This is charming. Where is this coming from?
Is this a question?
Yes, please.
No, it's actually there's a typo. It's in 8 years. And it's actually
Have you heard about water on Mars?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm.
there's
Okay, so you. I don't know if talking about 8 years is realistic. I think if you look into your crystal ball and you try to assess
yeah.
the performance in 5 years from now, that is already a challenge. So I would stick to that and not be overly ambitious. So I think, 100 million euros and 8 years, oof, based on what? What? Then I really want to see a very, very, very detailed Excel table that explains to me how you get there.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure that
Right.
you want to have this conversation now because you are looking for seed investment, and I think it's a bit pointless to make these long projections. The 5 years should give us an indication of where you see yourself and how you want to get there, and which measures you are going to use in order to get there. Okay, so that we have been clarifying. That's good. Now, I have a last question that relates to your valuation. How did you come up with your company valuation, and what is it based on?
It's basically it's a balance between how much work we've done in a year and a half doing the app, how much an app of that kind would be worth, how much our users are worth, how we can actually try to come up with, and you've seen it, it's quite hard to come up with numbers about how much money we're going to make in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years time, but it's a balance between all that.
Okay, I see. Because I think there is a problem, at least from the view of an investor, because a company that looks for seed finance and is not yet selling products, because that is something that you aim to do, cannot have a valuation of more than 1.6 million. This is unrealistic. This is not happening, and no investor will back it up, as far as I know. And you might have discussed that in Eurotechnology, and I don't know which advice was given to you, but this is something that investors will not buy. Either you already have an investor on board, and this is something like an evaluation that is based on an existing business model, because you already have a cash flow and you generate revenues. And now you want to take it to the next level. But in the shape that you are in, which is in the seed stage, I find it very difficult to justify a company value of roughly 1.67 million.
May I would just also, Benoit, suggest you one thing, which is, of course, you can just play with that a little bit, which is better for you. Or you either think of discounted cash flow, if you are expecting this cash flow will be much nice and positive in the next 1 to 3 years, or you want to just have your valuation based on the user, yes? But nevertheless, if you take a user, so Facebook, for the IPO, the user was valuated for $120 US. So if you take that into account, 3,000 multiplied by 120,000, it gives 360,000 US dollars. So, which is much below the valuation you expect you're giving to the let's say, as an offer right now.
Yeah.
Of course, it could be better than to switch into the discounted cash flow if you can show the perspective of how much money you will add if you will get some seed round, and it will be, for instance, 200k euros. Nevertheless, this is an exercise that must be very clear, otherwise it is a little bit confusing. What to choose? Definitely the first choice. Users, either discounted cash flow, as long as you're not earning money yet. But then to be consistent and do not mix. I would suggest not mixing the valuation. The half of them will be based on users. The half of them will be based on the discounted cash flow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my.
Yeah. Thank you, Christoph. That is very useful. Now, I think you need to adjust that and maybe explain how you got to your valuation based maybe on the model that Christoph suggested or another. But you cannot get away, I suppose, with this high valuation currently. It's unrealistic. And it's a current problem that we find in today's overheated startup market, that people read about these high valuations and then think that probably their company is worth double than it actually is. But it's good to prepare for a discussion with an investor, because this is something that they are pretty good at noticing instantly, and they would not go for such a high valuation. Any reaction from Grow?
No, nope.
Okay, so you will do your homework, I suppose.
Yes.
Very good. Now, I think you have done a fantastic presentation, and also, Raphael, thanks again for that. Congratulations for two very exciting business models, for a good spirit and a very entertaining way of showing how your next steps will look like. Are there remarks from the group, which I hope to connect back to now, if I can leave the screen, which I can, hopefully can. Anybody in
I may remind to all of you and ask the kind.
Yeah, please. Please join.
I just wanted to say one word, that if you may, it's also important for us to have a feedback from you. So if not right now, so just please after give us your feedback within the inquiry that we sent to you. Okay. And of course, please keep asking questions if you may, if you can, if you have.
Sorry, I'm trying to get back to go to meeting and don't find that so easy, maybe yet. All right, so are there any questions? No questions?
I think that was a very that was a great exercise and webinar and remarks and advice that was given by user Jan. So I myself I was listening very carefully as each time I learned myself. I think that it could be that for all of us that we and the group has to right now rethink what has listened and do the homework again. For those who were able to attend, and for the others who will definitely will listen to the recording, as some of the startups, so the people who are not attending, as I had the information, they couldn't reach the office or whatever, but they will listen carefully to the recording, and I think that we will try to make the feedbacks better after these guidelines, so based on business cases. So from my perspective, also thank you to you, Benoit, and thank you to you, Rafał, and the most thank you to you, Julian. That was great.
Well, thank you very much. And a last opportunity for everybody to ask a very stupid question. It's now, it's going, going. Hello, hello, and gone.
And gone. I just sent in the very last moment a link to the feedback. If you can just please remember to give us a feedback. It is of course included in slides that were shown at the beginning, but also I sent in chat to you. Okay.
Very good.
So I hope that everyone
Very good. So we are expecting your amended presentations, and we'll then take it to the one-to-one consultations, in which we will discuss in the detail as you saw today, and maybe even deeper, how your propositions and the presentation resonates with potential investors, and which questions they probably or very likely will be asking. Very good. So thank you very much, everybody. And I
Thank you
hope
very
you
much.
have a delightful evening. And thank you for being good sports and taking all the bitching.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice evening.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.